Hello, this is George Senda, the guy from Pittsburgh. I've calmed down a little from when I did the beginning of this video, but there's a couple things I forgot. Maroney loved history, books about the military, playing war games, going back to the days like I was of Fletcher Pratt before, naval miniatures, board war games, SPI war games, computer games. He was the only person I knew whose computer was not hooked up to the internet because he had a credit card company scab him out of $1,000 and the evil Citibank wouldn't give him his money back. So, and you see at the end of the beginning of the video a picture of Delmar Paul Maroney, my friend, whom I will miss very, very much, and whom I relied on for counsel and military knowledge and history knowledge and chemical knowledge, electronic knowledge. There wasn't much he didn't know about, even though we had arguments even about that and that. We argued about fusion power and solar power and nuclear power because I said some of your data is 50 years old. It doesn't apply anymore. We had big arguments about that. But I love the man like a father, and I'm going to be upset about this for a while, and so is Kathy. All right, enjoy the video. But he had at various times Apple II computers. He was still ticked at Steve Jobs for Apple never providing a hard drive when they cost like $1,500.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
And he had an Amiga, a Commodore. He had several PCs, including the next to the last one where the connector to the hard drive melted. And he got a new computer recently, and they put Windows 10 on it. He could not. Computer stop. He could not understand Windows 10, so he carted it down to the shop and had them put Windows 7 so he could play his older computer games. He loves smoking his pipe, and Walgreens stopped selling pipe tobacco, so I had to go get him pipe tobacco from the Walgreens over here and bring it to him. He liked Black and Burley, and there was another one that he liked years ago, and they discontinued that. So the two things he loved doing was smoking his pipe and drinking black coffee in his Navy cup till it shattered one day because he'd been using it for like 30 years. And he had little cactuses around the apartment and would bug me about my cats. And he had issues with Kathy too at times, but she loved him very much. All right, have a great morning. I'm not up to seeing anybody on the face-to-face here, so to speak. That's why I'm doing the video this way, because I've been just really bummed out over this, because I only talked to him a week ago, and once again, it's a case of I never got to talk to him before he died, and he died badly. You know, died quickly, but you'd like to say things you want to say to him before he goes, and now I can't do that, and I'll never see him again. I'm losing too many friends. So is Kathy, she said last night. All right, this is George Senda, the guy from Pittsburgh. I don't know if enjoy the video is the right thing to say, but watch the video if you will, and mourn with me, I suppose. I want to thank my 2 new subscribers, but I can't even think who they are right now, so I apologize, but thank you for subscribing. And Delmar Paul Maroney, I will miss the hell out of you, my friend. All right, bye-bye for now. Hello, this is George Senda, the guy from Pittsburgh. When I go over to the city on Friday, I will do a more detailed video on this. But I'm still in shock. I've had a headache since I made the fateful phone call last night to wish my friend Delmar Paul Maroney a Merry Christmas, only to find out that he died on the 23rd. I knew Del or like we all called him Maroney by his last name, for 7 months before I met Kathy. He was my second oldest friend in the world. I've lost too many friends to death. Most of my friends were older than I was, and Maroney just hit, I think, 78 or 80. Well, he had a colostomy done. He had diabetes and had a catheter that he had to insert all the time to urinate. And his urinary flow went to almost nothing, and he was rushed to the hospital. They put him on dialysis for the first time. That seemed to be going well, and then in the, I'm not clear on this, the bed or the dialysis room, he had a massive heart attack and died. So I just talked to him a week ago, and he said he was looking forward to having to remove the bag in January and getting back to a bit of a normal life. And I talked to his wife, and that's a whole nother story, because until last night I didn't know he had a wife. And I won't go into that because I'm rather upset about the details. And Kathy's upset about it because she misses him too, and they had a falling out. And it's because of the wife. So I could talk to Maroney about just about anything. He had a degree in chemical engineering from the University of Montana. He'd been in the Navy for 2 years. He knew military history like no one else. We had arguments about the JFK assassination, the history of the Federal Reserve Bank. He could be very stubborn. We did not see eye to eye totally politically, even though he was a conservative and became a curmudgeon in his later years. He died without a will, which is another thing I think is stupid. My mother had the same thing. It leaves headaches for the people that survive. And I'll go over there Friday to pay my respects, but I can't talk to my friend anymore. And he was the next to the last friend. I have my friend Paul, and when he goes, other than online friends and a couple of neighbors and people I talk to the bank and stuff, but they're not really friends. They're friendly. I won't have any friends anymore. And he had books I would have liked to have, and I mentioned that last night. Well, he never said anything to me about it. And I said, well, we had talked about this for years when he went, that I would get certain property. His sisters are there. And it wasn't property that's worth money. It's property for its scarcity, like Jane's fighting ships from World War II. And there's a lot of stuff there that she wouldn't know what to do with. So I'm going to go over and give her written advice at least, because she could be selling a lot of this stuff to get money, but she's going to have to do certain things. Maroney smoked a pipe, and he would drop his ashes everywhere, and it got into everything. And most of his books will have to be probably tossed out. So, you know, a man for 40 years, and in a second, he's gone. And I don't know what to do about it. He worked at Western Union for years as a technician. He worked at Bunker Ramo when they were doing stock ticker data in the 70s. He was in the Navy on the second USS Gregory as an electronics technician. And I lost my friend Bubs Nelson, who was his friend. And Maroney missed Buzz because they would talk about much the same thing. And I'm going to miss the hell out of that man. And we would do silly things like we were both fans of the Aflac commercials, and we would just sit there on the phone, and other people would look at us like we were crazy, and we would just say the word Aflac over and over because it amused us. And I would also tell Maroney, excuse the language, folks, but you had to be there and to understand why we'd say this, and I'd get mad at them, or we'd be saying it jokingly, or as our standard greeting each other, fuck you, Maroney, and he'd go, fuck you too, George. And we would elaborate the white horse you crawled in on, the dog you went to bed with. It's all silliness, but we got into this thing for over 30 years of saying that every time we talked or met at some point. And as years went by, I didn't call him as much. I wasn't sure of his sleep schedule, and he didn't sleep well some nights or at all, and I didn't want to disturb him. I wish I had. So Delmar Paul Maroney is gone, and I've lost a huge part of my life. All right, this is George Senda, the guy from Pittsburgh, and I hope I get rid of the pretty much nonstop headache I've had since I heard the news. Have a good morning, and stay warm and safe out there if you can. Bye-bye for now.